Okay, hang on. So key here, when things go south and you get frustrated, take a deep breath, calm down. And just think to yourself, your normal friends have jobs. All right. Here we are this morning on a beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. Earlier in the week, we had this truck in the field. We had a little mishap with it. I think it was like 9 degrees with like a -1 wind chill. I mean, that is cold. And of course, we're on top of a hill because you always park the trucks on top of a hill because they don't go through low spots, they can get stuck. I jumped in it and went down the road, and all of a sudden I could just tell with the throttle pedal, man, something didn't sound right. It sounded like I had air leaking. Got out on the road, flipped the hood up, and right here, if you zoom in, you can see this is what they call the air-to-air intercooler, and this little bolt had actually rubbed a hole in the intercooler.
Oh no.
So we got a couple options. One was replace it, but come on, let's be honest, that cost more money than expected. I originally have a parts truck that I was thinking I might be able to grab some parts out of. Then Matt today, this morning, asked me, he's like, well, what about Warren's Welder? And I'm like, Warren's Welder? I got thinking, I'm like, oh, that's right. My dad traded a portable stick welder for this thing. This is an aluminum welder. It's designed to run aluminum. We literally have never used it. We hooked it up this morning just to see if it would work. We were gonna try it out. This is a little different. I've welded aluminum about 10 to 12 times in my life, so I can say I've done it. Am I a pro? Absolutely not. So what I was doing earlier this morning, because we're trying to figure out, one, if the welder works, two, how to set it. This is an old chunk of aluminum I had. It's actually an old carpet cleaning tank, so it's about as filthy, contaminated as possible. We're not going to give a welding lesson here because there's a lot more on it, but literally I was drilling holes like you see here and then filling them to try to imitate on the truck. Because the downside with this, you're only going to get about one shot. So here's one, here's two, here's three, here's four. We were trying different settings, that kind of stuff. An old helmet, what the old timers use, you literally get everything ready and then you pull your helmet shut. The old timers that are really cool could get this down.
Oh yeah.
Mine usually, I'm not that good, comes back and smacks me in the nose. Okay, so right there you can see we're about halfway around the circle, and all I'm doing is just doing spot welds across it. And what you see there is some of the impurities coming back out of the metal. This was a filthy piece of aluminum. If we were doing new aluminum, it'd be a lot cleaner. But I wanted to grab an old chunk to help imitate what we're gonna fight on an old air-to-air intercooler. So here too, you can see we're just going around in a circle, closing that in.
So are you feeling like you're getting your settings pretty good?
I think I got it pretty dang good. Now, the trade-off is we're gonna go to another piece of metal that could be totally different.
Sure.
So, welcome to Welding on the Fly 101. It's never perfect. Okay. So, we noticed a couple things right off the bat that, because we're sitting here going this morning, going, okay, how did this happen? Up here, where you see the electrical tape, we bought this truck about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago. It usually gets used a lot more in the fall. It's not the one I normally drive, and so I probably should have caught that something wasn't right. I noticed the hood wasn't sitting perfect. After this, we started digging deeper into why it wasn't. The guy we bought it from kind of made his own spacers. There's actually supposed to be a rubber connector that goes over the end, or bushing that goes over the end, that kind of fills a gap. When we close the hood, what I noticed this morning, this gap right here is tighter than it should be. It should be up about like that. If that would happen, we wouldn't have this problem. So when I first got in here this morning, swept the shop floor, started playing around with this, knew I was bringing this in. I'm actually gonna wet the area we're gonna be welding. I'm gonna throw a couple shields down too, just because this is all plastic or fiberglass, to help kind of what they call the slag or the slag burn, help control that, just to help be safe. Where am I going to ground out? I wonder if I'll hit it there. This is an expensive oops if it don't work. Ground. Gotta get a ground that's good enough. There's everything's smooth.
So when you're welding aluminum, you ground on aluminum?
Yep.
Okay.
When you weld it all metal. So what we got going on is we got a clamp here that there's nothing. Normally, if you're welding on normal metal, you take your ground clamp and you can just clamp it like right here.
Yeah.
You can't do that with this. So give me a minute, we just got to find some place to ground. Oh, here we go. I gotta get a better angle here. Oh, come on, these were new!
No, I'm not editing that out.
Well, all right, so that concludes today. They're like brand new jeans. I put them on once. I wasn't planning on welding, so usually if I got shop clothes, or if I know I'm gonna be in the shop, I wear crappy clothes that already have holes in them. All right. No, all right. I'm not editing that out.
I won't show your pants, okay?
No, it's fine. This is what I get. All because of...
Oh.
Okay, hang on. So, key here, when things go south and you get frustrated, take a deep breath, calm down. And just think to yourself, your normal friends have jobs. All right. I got some slag there. The trick with this is old dirty aluminum. There's going to be a lot of contaminants, and so there's not a nice way to get in here clean. What I didn't want to do, if it was on a bench, I would have taken a die grinder, cleaned that up a little more. The downside with doing this on the truck, it's not ideal. Any slag that goes into this is going to go back through that turbo and the turbo flange. So the least amount of slag possible is welding in place, doing as little prep as we can, and that's why if you're a pro welder and you're like, oh, you should have cleaned it up. Well, yeah. If I was going to take it off, yeah, but we were combining and trying to get the truck back on the road, so we're just flying by the seat of our pants. And they're ripped now. Okay, that's a little goober. We're going to try it. We can come in later and sand it down a little bit, but I'm gonna fire it up, see if we got any air leaking.
Do you need some duct tape for those?
I was thinking a zip tie. Yeah. If I had time, I could weave in and out wire, go with the welding theme. Rev it up to about 1500. You've been building up boost. You want to just put your hand over it and see if there's any pressure?
Sure. I think they're good. I think it's good.
I think so too, because we could have heard the whistle.
Okay.
Let's shut this off quick.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I got shorts for summer.